Hello, YouTubers. Joe and Paul here on Wednesday, December 10th at 4:10 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Now, apparently, uh, when I was looking down the window here this morning, cars were backed up to who tied it. Well, they always are, but even more to who tied it. And people were starting to turn around, and do the three-point turn and go back the other way. And now apparently, I thought, I heard sirens, but I thought that's had to be down on Polaris Parkway. But apparently, Paul ran into this immediately upon leaving the driveway this morning.
Yeah, it was like 4 or 5 cars ran into each other. They're all right here at the T-shape at the intersection.
At the East Powell Road and Worthington Road intersection. So what do you think happened there, Paul?
Well, like I said before, it looked like somebody was turning left on the Powell Road, and somebody coming off of Powell Road hit down. Then a guy going straight toward the Parkway past here, he appeared to have hit those two in the side, and then knocked the guy coming off of Powell Road into a car that was turning right on the Worthington Road to go to the Parkway also.
Well, it must have been a real dog's breakfast.
So that you had people going all the way over against...
But at least it happened. It couldn't have happened too much before you left because...
No, because there was no police cruisers or anything.
Yeah,
they were all standing out in the middle of the street on
the
the phone.
Well, so because after that, I'll tell you, this place backed up for a good hour and a half.
They were U-turning when I went down the driveway.
No, what? I'm sorry?
They were turning around and going backwards when I pulled out of here.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But when I got down to the driveway, the car started moving.
It's surprising that I didn't hear more sirens. But of course, I don't think.
Oh. You don't get that many police cruisers go to something up here.
Well, I know a 4-car wreck. I mean, usually get the fire department. They send a couple of units. And...
Yeah, it's usually. That's like somebody gets hit in the butt because of the gas tanks and stuff.
Oh, no, I don't think they distinguish. I mean, somebody says there's a wreck and they send the stuff. Well, anyway. But you got there in time.
Yeah. Had about 2 minutes to go.
Well, yeah. I mean, now you left about 7:05.
Yeah.
And he's going to be there at 7:30, so... This is a mile and a quarter down the road. It took him about 25 minutes to get down there.
But actually, there wasn't any traffic on the Parkway because they were all back up here.
Well, so you
stopped in the traffic.
So the bulk of the time was spent waiting to get through the intersection.
Yeah. So all I had to do was go over on the far left side and use that lane to get around, drive around them.
So any new adventures today at work?
Oh, they started staying in the wood, and I think they're going to actually close the dining room since the guys have had it tore up.
And they're laid new wood?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, what are they staining?
The wood baseboard that's always been there.
Oh, so
restaining it.
Oh, they're restaining it.
So, anyway, they've had the main dining room tore out, and guests haven't been able to go over there. Go to the meeting room, get their food, and go back to the dining room and eat. Because they've had it closed off one way or the other. And then they finally built a solid wall through one of the arches. So that stopped people from being able to get in there. So, when they ripped out the carpet and stuff, they just piled all the tables and chairs on top of each other. So there's actually no way for the people staying at the hotel to sit. So where we had a meeting out on Friday afternoon, pull out a bunch of tables and stuff in there where we served food at. Well, the guests are coming in and getting the food, and they're just pulling up the chair, and they're staying right there.
Well, good for them.
So they're more or less hanging out in the kitchen.
I was appreciating though the management technique of keeping everybody on the move. I've been this fellow that was sort of a supervisor of me there for a time when I was training. He used the theory of keep everybody on the move, if nothing else but to have somebody go down and get him a sandwich or a carton of milk or something.
Hey, you were standing around like a traffic cop when it's with humans, they're walking all over and they're checking every door and stuff, looking around. They'll come back and they'll go, "How are you supposed to get food around here?"
Just keep them on the move.
You got to go this way.
Keep them on the move. Keep them on the move. It's just.
Well, if they would put a sign in the hallway pointing, breakfast, serving. Okay, no, they got little sheets, like notebook-sized pieces of paper on the wall beside the door. When you walk through the door into the meeting room, that's where you see the sign saying, "Welcome to breakfast."
Parenthesis, and stay on the move.
Go in this way, loop around, come out the other way.
Don't let the sun set on your behind in this dining room. Or I guess now this time of year, don't let the sun rise on your behind in this dining room.
Yeah, because there's no drapes.
Well, and it's dark out about that time of day anyway.
Well, there's people have been coming, because talking to cooks this morning, there's some guests coming down there at 5:30. Around 5:25, 5:15, 5:30, and wanting fed. Asking where's breakfast?
The big dark will be here on December 21st or 22nd. Well, that time. The big dark, the longest night of, darkest day of the year.
Right, she gets there at 5 a.m. to get stuff started, and these people are wanting it by 5:15, and she's like, "Not done yet."
Very demanding crowd, it sounds like sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
They do get that way.
Well, yeah, my thesis is that once you cross a certain price point, an establishment, a certain amount of social restraint about being demanding, if there ever was any social restraint. But if there was, that residual social restraint tends to fall away. Now, I think that price point happens somewhere just slightly north of $100 a night.
Gee, what?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
We're over that.
Well, I know you are. I know you are. Now, I think a few, well, not a few years ago, maybe 25 years ago, 30 years ago, that price point was around $60, $65 a night. But now, I think I think once you cross over $100 a night, people feel far more liberated to piss and moan about things.
Yeah. Even things that aren't even wrong.
Well, that's the whole point of my remark is that even if it's not anything really germane to anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what they complain about, you thought they would have known. it would have been that way when they walked into the room.
Well, I know
Instead, they go ahead, they stay, and then they get it to come down and complain that that's how this room was.
let me ask you this. Now, do you guys take people up to the room and say, "Is this okay?"
Oh, we let them, or they'll go out and check the room out, and then they'll come back down and go out and get their luggage,
Okay.
and they'll tell you that the room's great.
Okay.
And
Well,
then sometimes,
well, see.
then the next morning it's not.
Well, the reason I ask is that whenever I've traveled over in the United Kingdom, before you sort of contract for a room for the night at a bed and breakfast, they always make it a point to show you the room. And this has always puzzled me because this is, I don't know, maybe it is now a custom in the United States, but that was never the way it was done in the United States. Is you went into the desk, you rented a room, here's your room, go to your room. And if you really didn't like it, then you could deal with that later. But the idea of being sort of shown something on approval, what do they think's going to happen here, guys? I mean, you've been driving around all of East Jesus United Kingdom for 8 hours, and and you're getting ready to basically feel like you're going to die. What are you going to do? Say, no, I don't like the room? Well, I mean, that always puzzled me, and it's a very gracious thing for them to do.
Yeah, there's a particular time to go find a room, or you're going to keep hunting for a room.
Well, or you're going to sit in your car, or you're going to go out in a field or something. But anyway, now it sounds like you guys, are American hotels now doing that?
Oh, yeah. If they ask, they see the room first.
Oh, so the client has to sort of initiate that sort of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they'll go ahead, check it in, and they'll go, well, can we go check out the room first, and then bring our stuff in?
Oh, so
sure.
But it's not a routine practice to lead them up and say, "Oh, is this okay?"
No.
Okay.
Not unless they request.
Okay.
Then you can take them somewhere that's vacant ready and show it to them.
No, good. Well, okay. So, that makes that clear a bit.
You find somebody to do it. Oh,
yeah. What? I'm sorry. Yeah, what?
Go get somebody to do it. I mean,
get someone to show them
two
up.
supervisors have taken them.
Get
one of the front desk people has taken them. I've even taken them up and shown them around.
Well, no, I know. I mean, you've told me about that. Yeah. So, okay. I'm sorry. You were going to say something else.
Yeah, well, we always had the radios that we walked around with.
Yeah.
Well, they finally decided their passing got rid of them, so now they're going to give me a semi-smartphone iPhone thing.
Okay. Oh, so they're not using the 2 meter the 2 meter band walkie-talkies anymore.
Because the one that head of housekeeping had, it would charge, but it wouldn't operate. No matter what channel it was on. And the one I used, the back clip that you could clip on your pocket, it disappeared off it one day. So, and then what? So, last year during the snowstorm, one of them was lost out in the snow and was never found. And
well, these were the 2 meter band walkie-talkie type radios.
yeah.
Well, I guess a lot of jobs you're doing. It's basically it's like they just have you use a cell phone,
right?
A work cell phone to call.
they were asking, well, how are we supposed to communicate with you if you don't have anything? I don't know. I said, unless you want to make a lot of long distance phone calls. I said, I've got a cell phone.
Well, but that's okay. Well, it's not long. I mean, we don't.
My phone number is 748.
Well,
They're 614.
Well, no. I mean, our cell phone service is such that it's the same. It's all part of the number of minutes. It doesn't matter how, where you call in the United States. It doesn't have a separate long distance rate. It's just.
Anyway.
Well, it's not like AT&T. I don't have long distance on my landline because I just use my cell phones for long distance calls. Or I guess out of area code calls would be a more appropriate way to say it.
Anyway, it's gonna have small ass print on it, I'll tell you. Because Dana showed me
on this new
this morning.
This new phone?
Yeah. Because they'll type out, what they want. They said,
Ow.
So when we were looking at it, and on his email or text, his text messaging on his system, he can blow this concept like we can on these. But on the stuff, the guest request thing, that concept will not grow up. It's tiny. It's like reading the small print at the bottom of the contract.
No, you better read that.
Get out the magnifying glass.
That's you definitely want to read that stuff. Well, anything else?
That's about it.
Alrighty then. Bye bye, YouTube.
Later.